With El Paso being a part of the United States, many people from the city were agitated that they couldn't go out to party and drink. This is when Juarez nightlife began booming. People from El Paso would cross the border to Juarez in the middle of the day and wouldn't cross back until late at night when the parties were over. During the day, Juarez is as normal as any other city. At about noon, people from El Paso and any surrounding cities would begin crossing the border to start their day in the city where Prohibition could not reach. When the Prohibition Law, also known as the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, was passed, it caused a lot of panic for everyone in America. There's a reason the 1920s are known as the Roaring Twenties. It was a time for parties and drinking, which is why many people from El Paso figured they'd cross the border to Juarez, where Prohibition could not reach them. Due to the influx of people coming to Juarez, the nightlife was a booming success. Every street corner was filled with laughter, music, and booze. Jazz music could be heard from anywhere, even to El Paso, which began the big controversy of jazz music being the reason people were acting crazy in Juarez. People from El Paso couldn't stand the partying and insisted that it was jazz that was driving them to act out. As David Romo states in his book Ringside Seat to a Revolution, on December 12, 1921, Mrs. S. J. Fennell, president of the El Paso City Federation of Clubs, announced an anti-jazz campaign. It only took a couple of days for the rest of El Paso to start chiming in their opinions on jazz. It got to the point where the Ku Klux Klan tried to get involved in ending the reign of jazz, but in the end, failed their mission. In the 1920s, one of the most popular bars in Juarez was the Kentucky Club, which is located only 2 blocks away from El Paso.
Backdrop for a number of great Western movies.
At that time, especially during Prohibition, thirsty Americans were looking for a place to wet their whistle, and they found it here, at the world-famous Kentucky Club.
The Kentucky Club, founded in 1920, sits just 2 blocks south of the Santa Fe International Bridge that joins Mexico to the United States.
Many people chose this bar mainly because it was the closest one they could get to. The Kentucky Club still exists today, and inside, customers can find photographs on the wall of many celebrities and well-known people who have visited this bar over the years. These people range from Pancho Villa all the way to Steve McQueen. Crossing the border to Juarez was one story. Coming back was another. There were about 2 checkpoints that people had to go through on their way back to America. Checkpoint number 1 consisted of the immigration station, where the people would have to present their passports to prove they are citizens of the United States. They then would move on to checkpoint number 2, where they would be inspected to make sure they weren't bringing anything back to America, such as booze or illegal immigrants. With everything checking out, the partiers were allowed to finally come back home. Today, Juarez is still used as a party town, with the exception that it is overrun by many gangs. It is said that Juarez is one of the most dangerous cities. When Prohibition was lifted in 1933, on December 5th, once again, El Paso was a hot spot for people to go drinking. They no longer depended on Juarez.